Nikhil, N. Srinivasan really upping the ante once again?
Well, that's right, Ankita. He may be under pressure, especially after what happened in the IPL and allegedly his son-in-law being involved in betting of IPL matches. But N. Srinivasan, the BCCI chief in exile, remains defiant. He's made it very clear that he's going to seek re-elections for the post of president when the BCCI elections happen on the 29th of this month. Of course, if you go back in history of the BCCI, you've always seen that presidents who finish their 2-year terms usually seek a re-election, but especially after what happened in the BCCI and with regards to match fixing in the IPL, things people thought would change. Joining us on the phone line at the moment is former India cricketer Atul Vasan. Atul, like we've been saying here, on record we have Mr. N. Srinivasan just mentioning a short while ago that he will be seeking re-election. One would have thought after what has happened, the kind of credibility issues that have been have come while he was the president, he would have probably changed his mind, but unfortunately that hasn't happened.
I'm surprised that there's so much wishful thinking. We all know what transpired when this thing blew in our faces, and there were a lot of opportunities where everybody could have taken a moral high ground, but it never happened. So I'm surprised that people are surprised that this move, and we all know that how hard it is to give up power. It's just a big aphrodisiac. Controlling cricket in India is such a high that even the top cabinet ministers, find this very difficult to give up.
Would it then be fair to say, like you're talking about, these are the ways of the BCCI, Atul, is it fair to say then that it's a very closed group, a gentleman's club where, rules are made to suit the powerful and especially the president, because the laws are such there in the BCCI that it's very difficult to even impeach a man?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, it's public knowledge that it's an old boys club and, everybody looks after everybody. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Things turn around. It's very difficult for newcomers to come in unless you have to go through the muck in your associations, get the proxies going and all that, and it's hard for cricketers to actually get into administration, which I would love to see more cricketers. And I was very hopeful and positive when Anil Kumble and Srinath, the likes of them, joined the board, So I want more cricketers to come in. But where is the way? Because, the laws are such in each association, the board, modus operandi, the way they work is, it's very closed group. You're right.
You talk about those players, Atul. You've been a former player. You're talking about the likes of Kumble having joined the BCCI. Now, the only way out of this situation is if someone from within the BCCI stands up and challenges Mr. N. Srinivasan. At the moment, what we understand, he will be the sole candidate, and it is expected that he will get that position of president for another year. In that scenario, have you been disappointed with sports people who've joined administration in cricket?
I can't hold that against them or blame them because, the way it works is that you've got to get the votes on your side. And, people in the board for so many years, they know who is there. And if you see associations, people are in the associations for zillions of years, So they all have been on the same side against each other. And once the elections come around, so the newcomers who have joined, if they, try and stick out, they'll be done away with. So you've got to play along, and that's what I said that, the rules have to be changed for more cricketers to come in, because if you have to be in the system, no way you can follow the system and actually stand against it.
Right, Atul Vasan, thanks so much for joining us on this big story at the moment that we're telling you right here on NDTV is that N. Srinivasan has confirmed he is going to seek re-elections for the post of BCCI president on the 29th of this month when the BCCI AGM happens. For more on this, I'm joined by my colleague Rika Roy. Rika, firstly, this is one thing that everyone would want to know. Can he really seek re-election based on the fact that he had made it very clear? He in fact even submitted an affidavit saying that he will not take part in the day-to-day activity of the board. In a scenario like that, will it not be contempt of court if he does seek a re-election?
Well, Nikhil, it would have seemed to be a contempt of court, given that he filed an affidavit on the 4th of July in Bombay High Court saying that he will recuse himself from the day-to-day activities of BCCI. But the word that's been used in the affidavit is day-to-day activities. But according to his lawyer, the meetings like disciplinary committee meeting, marketing committee meeting, and even an AGM is not a day-to-day BCCI activity, which apparently is being conducted by Jagmohan Dalmia, the interim chief, which is why he can attend the meeting and even chair the meeting. Also, we understand that he is going to seek re-election, but today he made a very interesting comment, Nikhil. He said, "I'm going to stand." Does that mean that BCCI is headed for an election? We don't know yet. 10 days still to go. Lots can happen, but we are also hearing the name of Shashank Manohar doing the rounds. There is a pressure group within the BCCI which wants Shashank Manohar to come in and fight election against N. Srinivasan.
Right.
Mr. Manohar himself, of course, hasn't made up his mind. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
You talk about the only way this situation can be avoided is if someone comes ahead to challenge Mr. N. Srinivasan. But Rika, do you really see that happening simply because as things stand right now, it's someone from the south who has to propose a name and then second it? At the moment, as we understand, Mr. N. Srinivasan met all the members of the board from the south of India, and apparently all of them have, in a way supported him. In a scenario like that, do you see any other state body from the south supporting another candidate?
Well, Nikhil, interestingly, when the meeting happened last weekend, we know that the Goa Cricket Association and the Andhra Cricket Association didn't turn up. And reports suggest that these are the two associations which are now willing to back Shashank Manohar. Of course, there are several pros and cons. Till now, no one within the board have stood up against N. Srinivasan, mainly because, all these bodies want to seek favors from Srinivasan. They get huge amounts of money to run their association. So, no one has really stood up against N. Srinivasan.
Right.
But right now, there is a section within the BCCI which strongly feels that Mr. Srinivasan should completely go because of, because his position has become untenable. Till the time his son-in-law's name is cleared, he should not come back. We'll again have to wait and see whether that group is strong enough to mount pressure on N. Srinivasan and have him go.
Right, Rika, we'll come back to you for a little more on this story. For the moment, let's show our viewers what Mr. N. Srinivasan said right after he attended that marketing committee meeting in the BCCI office in Mumbai.
I'm sorry, that is the wrong information. First of all, the meeting did not take place where you said, where the media is saying. Second, I don't see what bearing it has.
So as far as South Zone is concerned, everyone stands behind you as of now?
I am going to stand.
Okay. So
No, all of you are writing, you are giving the numbers, no?